Hello there, welcome to Intended Being, where we help you be the you intend to be. Now, I don't know what time you were watching this, but Carl and Buddy and I are all excited. It's New Year's. This is a time when a lot of people tend to reflect over who they've been, the life they've had, who they're being, the life they're having, and most importantly, who they intend to be and the life they intend to have. So we're excited because we're about to launch a 9-video workshop on how to develop a vision, a plan, goals, habits, and all kinds of other stuff focused around who you intend to be and the life you intend to have. So this first video is going to go over the general strategy for the workshop and tell you kind of what all the other 8 videos are going to have in them. So let's get started. Then we're going to focus our strategy around this organizational change theory, which basically says if you have dissatisfaction, enough dissatisfaction with the way things are, and you have a vision for where you're going, a plan on how to get there, and you actually take the first steps, and you focus on this, then hopefully, if this creates more energy than the resistance you have to change and the costs related to the change, then the change will probably be successful. But what does this mean? Let's break this down a little bit more. So let's say you're an ass. Let's say you are an ass. Now, if you're like me, oftentimes you think maybe you're an ass, or I think I'm an ass a lot of times. Like maybe right now. Anyway, a very good visual is with donkeys, you have this idea of a carrot and a stick. So in terms of change, we have dissatisfaction is the stick. The stick hitting the donkey to get moving, right? So this dissatisfaction means focusing on dissatisfaction with the way things are. Whatever it is that you want to change it because right now there's something wrong. Some kind of pain. You're feeling some kind of pain. So focusing on that can help motivate you to get moving. But if all you have is dissatisfaction, then you could easily be running around in circles, right? So you need to have a vision. You need to have that carrot that you want to get to, right? So that is your direction. So you have the carrot and the stick motivating the donkey or the mule or the ass where they want to go. But oftentimes, usually when we talk about who we intend to be or the life we intend to have, that carrot's pretty far away. It's not always obvious how to get there. So in order to get there, we need to have a plan. We need to have a mapped out strategy of what our best likelihood is of getting to that vision, right? So in this case, you got to wrap around the house and meet this friendly dragon. Looks friendly anyway, I don't know. To get up to the carrot. Now that's probably some pretty good carrot if you're going that whole distance. But so we have dissatisfaction, we have a vision, we have a plan to get there, but what haven't we done yet? We haven't taken the first steps, right? And those first steps are key because that's actually doing something. A lot of us, especially around New Year's time, makes it have a whole lot of fun creating all these ideas and plans, but then we never do anything about it. So the first steps are key. So quick recap, dissatisfaction gets you going, vision tells you where you're going, plan tells you how to get there, and obviously you need to actually move to get there. Now, if that's all there was to changes, making change, then I feel like people would be successful all the time because that's kind of easy. The problem is you got to have a whole lot of planning and energy and dissatisfaction and all that to overcome the resistance to change and the costs of change. So let's start with the resistance. Okay, so resistance, a big piece of it is mental. A big piece is mental, especially within ourselves. It starting feeling like stormy, rainy, gloomy. You know, I mean, we start off with the change and it's all exciting. But then a few weeks later, it becomes kind of old hat and we don't see that we're getting as far as we want. The actual change looks kind of like it's up at the top of a mountain somewhere. And we just feel like we're trudging and not making a whole lot of difference. And then a lot of times, you know, as we're trying to change, you meet resistance from other people, right? Because as I said before, change brings uncertainty. And even if you're changing yourself, it still brings uncertainty to other people. So, and sometimes you need to spend less time with those people because you're trying to do this other thing, whatever it is. These external resistances to change can feel like stop signs, like signs that say, you know what, don't even bother. And with this and the gloominess and it's so far away, it just gets kind of overwhelming. It almost makes you want to cry, really, is what it does. And, you know, when I'm feeling down and I want to cry, what I usually do, no, that's not true, but what I do sometimes is I think about early 90s hip hop, you know, and I think about the words once said to me that I am too legit to quit. Too legit to quit. Too legit. Oh my. To quit. Okay. I'm not too legit to quit singing because I should not be singing. But anyway, as MC Hammer would tell you in these times that you got to step to the rhythm of a show-nuff winner. You're the show-nuff winner. Because you've been here before and you ain't no beginner. Yeah, you're no beginner to life, right? You've had changes before. So, and now we'll have this workshop where we talk about DVPf. So let's dry up our tears. Let's take a moment and think about MC Hammer's wise words. Okay? So with all this resistance, we're going to talk about this in later videos, but how you harness your dissatisfaction and that vision. So you got the pull and the push motivating you to keep going. And we're going to look at how use strategies to use that to make those stop signs look kind of more like yield signs. More like, okay, caution, maybe things aren't going quite how we thought, but now all we got to do is pull out our plan and maybe remind ourselves of how we were going to get there, or maybe we got to revise the plan a little bit. We'll talk about that again in later videos. But once we do that, we got this plan. It tells us what we need to do. Get the feet back on the ground and get moving, okay? So once we start moving, that mountain's not going to seem as high because we keep getting closer. Weather's not going to seem quite so gloomy. Maybe it looks like sunshine might even show up. I don't know. But focusing on the fundamentals, the D, the V, the P, the F, is going to be what helps us get through all this resistance. So let's thank MC Hammer. Thank you, MC Hammer, for your wisdom. And now let's talk about the costs. So costs in a change, a lot of times you think of costs, you think of money. But money is not the only cost. Or maybe your change is to advance in your career. So you're thinking, oh, my change is going to give me more money. But that can require a lot of resources in terms of people you know, or could be time. In fact, time is probably the biggest cost for most changes, because If you're going to work out more, 20 minutes a day, every other day, whatever, you're taking those 20 minutes from something else. So, I don't know. Whatever it is that your change requires, there's all kinds of different things it could require. You need to be aware of that. And you need to be aware of where you're going to get the resources to do that change. And that's why, again, we bring the plan out. And the plan can kind of tell us, okay, what resources do we need? And how are we going to go about getting them? And then again, you need to start making your first steps, because those first steps will tell you, okay, which of these resources am I going to be able to get? So, as you can see, somebody down there has a really interesting plan, because anything that requires a chicken, a satellite, and a bicycle, and some of that other stuff, a guitar, that sounds like a cool plan. I don't know what it is, but I'd like to know. Anyway, that's basically the strategy we're going to use. So let me quickly tell you what the next 8 videos are going to be about, and then we'll be on our way. So the second video, the one after this, we're going to look at your basic needs. Needs that are being currently unmet, or needs that are being fulfilled, whatever it is. We're going to look at what needs you need to have fulfilled in order to live the life you intend, to be the you intend. And that's going to be through a needs study. It's pretty exciting. That's actually probably my favorite part of this whole thing. And that's coming up next. After that, we're going to talk about we're going to look into your values and your passions. And it's so interesting, both with needs and with values and passions, how often, if we don't look into it, if we don't step back and reflect, we can spend so much of our energy having nothing to do with our needs, values, or passions, or sometimes even doing stuff that go against them. So anyway, that's why I want to focus on those first, to make sure your vision that you create is actually something that will be good for you down the road. And then the fourth video is going to be some exercises, basically to combine what we get from the first 2 videos, or the second and the third video, I guess, into a more cohesive and more clearly defined vision. Because we're going to need that clearly defined vision for video 5. Video 5, which is going to borrow from strategic management, this concept called the SWOT. And a SWOT is basically looking at your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And obviously we'll discuss that more in video 5, but we're going to use that process to develop a plan that is most likely going to succeed in getting you as close to your vision as possible. And then once we have the plan down, that's when we create goals. That'll be video 6. I don't know if you've heard of SMART goals. They've been around a little while. But SMART goals, also from organizational behavior field, have been studied for a while. And basically, there are these elements that you need to have in a goal. Well, you don't need to, but different elements that go into your goal setting that make your goals more likely to be achievable. So SMART stands for like specific, measurable, achievable, stuff like that. Next, video 7 is going to talk about habits. And there's a lot of exciting research and literature emerging these days about habits and how to make them more sustainable, how to make them align more with who you want to be, stuff like that. So we're going to get into that in video 7. It's very exciting because somebody puts it basically, you kind of are what you do, and habits are a big percentage of what you do. So changing your habits can really make a big change in your life. So video 7 is pretty exciting. Video 8 we're going to look at resistance, and video 8 really deals with what I think is the biggest risks to failing with your change or your plans or your vision, is through the resistance that you're going to meet. So we're going to look at different strategies for getting our motivation up to power through it, stuff like that. That'll be video 8. Video 9, also pretty darned important, because if you don't prepare for the resources you need in order to make this change, and by resources I could just be talking about time, then that can really kill a change or plans or whatever as well. Right? And you also have to look at how your changes and resources will impact others. So we'll talk about that in video 9. And yeah, that's our workshop. That's a basic run through of what we're going to be talking about. So hopefully that interests you. Hopefully you find that pretty exciting. I find it pretty exciting. As you can see, Donkey is pretty excited about the vision of spending some time in paradise with Buddy and Carl here. And Buddy and Carl are excited, hoping to see you again. I'm hoping to see you again. And if you do plan to come and watch video 2, please do check down below. I left some links to some free feelings cards and free needs cards that you can download and print out and cut up, which we'll use in video 2. You don't have to use those. There's other things you can do using a sheet of paper or this video that I'll have for flipping cards. But I do think that having the paper ones are the best, or stock cards. So I have that there just in case you want to print it out ahead of time and cut them out. The links will be in the post for video 2 as well, so don't need to worry too much about that. And finally, if you are interested, if you do want to join us again, if you're looking forward to future videos, consider hitting that subscribe button. I don't know where it is. It's somewhere. I just pointed to it at some point here. So it would be great if you hit that button. We're hoping to get 1,000 subscribers as soon as possible, because that's when YouTube can help support our work. Also, if you like the video, hit the like. Either way, I do hope to see you again, and until then, I wish you the best. Take care.